Hello folks, I'm going to be making a pair of shelves for the daycare. I'm going to be making a pair of pallet shelves. Now you may see these all over the internet because they're probably the easiest pallet things to make because you don't need to do anything other than take these boards off and nail them here. Basically all you do is you take these two middle boards off and nail one on this side and nail one on the other side. After you do that, you cut the pallets in half, so I'll show you how to do that, and then you got the shelves. Alright, so first you're going to start ripping off the boards. Now don't rip them off too hard, you'll crack them. So my pallet's got 3 points where you rip off the board. First you rip it off here, then you take the hammer, you could jam the thing under here. If you decide to jam the hammer under the board, do not use the claw or you will rip up the back of the board. You can use the claw under here. That's another way you could rip up the board. Just put the hammer under here and then like that. And then you got the board, and for the last one you just rip it out. And you can already see the shelf taking place, and then you just nail it under, like this. You just rip the nails out of the board first, but you just nail it underneath there. It's going to be a nice tight fit even with a nail gun, because you got 3 points where you're going to shoot a nail, and you're going to shoot like 3 nails into them points. So that's the first thing you're going to do. Okay, so we're done that. We took these two middle boards off. Out of the 4 boards, we took the 2 middle boards off. It's starting to rain a little bit. But after we took those boards off, we nailed them to the sides of the pallet, which are going to be the bottoms of the shelves. Next, you're going to measure to the exact middle of this board, because you want them to be both the same size. And you're just going to cut it right in half. You can use wood filler to get rid of these nail holes, because you're going to have nail holes from ripping off boards. Make sure you take the nails out of your boards when you get make sure you take the nails out of your boards before you nail them here too, because the nails will look ugly. Maybe they'll even impede the process of nailing them to the side. So after you get done that, measure to the middle and then chop it. Just cut it in these three places. I'm using a jigsaw. You can use anything that'll cut these safely. I recommend a circular saw, but I'm using a jigsaw right now because I have to cut this middle one. Okay, so we got these. What you're going to do is you're going to try to get these level. My blade was bending on my saw, but you're going to try to get these as level as you can. Then you're going to cut your design into them. I'm going to go around the top to get rid of this thing. I'm going to go around the top and then slant it outward. That's what I'm going to do. You could do whatever you want, but you trace it with a pen or a marker first. Now they don't have to be perfect, but you can do them perfect if you want. These are going to be rustic. They're going to be painted too, so I got to get them sanded as smooth as possible. You could do whatever you want, paint, stain. You could even lacquer them just the way they are. You could even leave them without a finish if you want. But these are a fun thing to make. There's a lot of tutorials on how to make them. This is just my way I make them right here. You can make them this way if you want. This is just the way I make them. So after you're done, you're gonna cut your you're gonna cut the final shape into it. I'm even gonna file around the edges of this thing when I get done with it. Okay, so I just finished the shelves. This is the final shape they're gonna take. I'm going to sand them though. You have to sand them so they look good. You don't have to sand them if you're not gonna put finish on them, but we're painting these, so I'm going to sand them. I'm going to start with a little bit of 40 grit sandpaper, and then I'm going to head over to the circular sander over there that I just bought. I bought that sander a week ago, week ago maybe. I'm going to start with 40, then 60, 80, 120, and then 220. Okay, so we're finished. We have 2 full shelves out of 1 pallet. Sanded and ready to be painted. I'm going to get all this dirt off and then we're going to paint it. So, if you have dirt on your pallets, you can use a rag or I'm going to be using a brush to take your dirt off. So, your last step is whatever you want to make it. There is no last step to this. As a matter of fact, there is no step called cut your edges like this either, because that step is your choice. Those 2 steps are your choice. The last step and the step where you cut this. There is no definitive step in making these shelves. There is no definitive steps in making the shelves. When you make your projects, it's your choice how you make them. Alright, have a nice day. Hope you enjoyed the video.